Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. Intensive times. The world is full of fear. And the mainstream news do their best to increase the fear. The more people are afraid, the easier it is to manipulate people. And then we can listen to the alternative news, and they are also scary. And people also get afraid. Let's not get caught by fear. Let's just go from day to day, deal with the circumstances as they are, make the best out of it. You are always connected with your own true divine self, with your own true divine nature. You can always connect with that. Here, in that, there is no fear. Little moments of fear may come, but when we see it, watch it, relax, and it comes, it goes, it doesn't do any harm. But if we hold on to fear, if we nurture it, then it's like a cancer that is there, getting stronger and stronger, eating up our life force, preventing our creativity, preventing us from connecting with the light, with the love, with the joyousness of existence. In these times, it's very good to be watchful about that. Is the fear coming? Is the fear creeping in? Then just step back and watch it. And already it starts to lose its power. Of course, there are things going on. They are rather scary. If we give way to fear, then we just tune into that stream of destruction and encourage it, that it can happen. We are in a transition. Eventually, something very beautiful will come out of all this. But right now, everything goes upside down. And it's, if we just watch that level only, it can be scary. We somehow have to find a way to go through it. And the best way is just to deal with the circumstances as they are. From day to day, and not look in the future and think, oh, terrible things may happen. There's nothing wrong with if one feels like preparing somehow, reasonably, but not out of fear. Simply, if one feels like it's a reasonable thing to do, we may prepare ourselves. But the main thing is that we don't give way to fear. The fear will pull us into depression. And the more we go into that, the more we can be pushed around. And the more difficult, the harder this change, this transition will happen. The best we can do to contribute is to connect with our true nature. To be aware that this joyousness of existence cannot be affected by whatever is happening. Get rooted in that. Let it manifest. Let it radiate. Let it inspire others to do the same. That's our best contribution for this transition to go smoother and faster. We are living in interesting times. That's for sure. Maybe we all knew before coming that these hard times are going to happen, and we were interested in being there, having the opportunity in this intensity that is there. If we have that presence, not to get overwhelmed by what is happening, by what we are hearing, by what we have to perceive and confront. But in spite of that, if you are capable to connect with the essence, then this is very, very, very powerfully helpful. It's very valuable in this intensive time. So although not everything is beautiful that is happening, it's a good time to be here. Everyone can intensify their experience quickly. This is the challenge of the now. I don't mean we have to close our eyes, try to behave, nothing is there, nothing, no, nothing is there. Okay, we can see it's tough what is going on, but we can see it as a challenge. Okay, then I make that much more of a sincere intent to connect with the true, with the essence, with the divine, with the beautiful, creative, bubbling, joyous nature of ours. That's what we are here for. Okay, then I'll stop with this and ask you, is there anybody who would like to come in and say something? You are welcome. Nobody wants to talk? This world is not as real as it appears. When we go to sleep and we dream, while we are dreaming, that world that we are dreaming up appears to be very real, is experienced as reality. After that, we wake up and we say, it wasn't real. It was just a dream. But while in the dream, we are experiencing, then that experience is real as an experience. This experience of this waking world is not that much different. There is a difference because it's like a matrix where many different individuals can join into the same dream. Still, each one is creating their own dream in it, but energetically we join together. It's real as an experience, like the dream in the night is real. But that which we take for granted so easily as reality, as hard reality, is not as real as it appears. It's continuously changing. It appears as it is, exactly as it is, through our senses. If our sense perceptions would be different, then the world that we're perceiving also would be different. It may not work for everybody, but for me, it has always helped to remind myself when I was in my mental struggles, then to remind myself, hey, it's not as real as it appears, it's a dream. At that time, it was mainly a working theory, but I felt it's helpful to remind myself. When I reminded myself, then whatever tensions I had been holding on to in my mind, in my psyche, started to dissipate. At least they got less. It's not a bad thing to remember. Hey, come on. We are here for the experience. We are here to face challenges, and through the challenges, something very beautiful can unfold. That's the point of it. If we take it too real and fix our attention on all the details, and then have our strict agenda, what should be and should not be, then of course we can be frustrated all the time. As what is happening is very rarely fitting to what we want, what we think should be. If we can accept what is happening, accept that what I am cannot be affected. I'm here to learn. I'm here to have these confrontations. I'm here to unfold the experience of that in the process. If we look at our life from moment to moment, from day to day in this way, it already gets easier, even in tough circumstances. I'm asking again. Is anybody ready to come in by now?
Yes, I'm ready.
Hello, Leora.
Hi. So about relationships.
Yeah.
But also what you said about happening, if it's like that, then actually nothing is happening in a way, because it's like projection of the mind, and then it's the reality is not what I think it is. So I just wonder, but this is more on the philosophical way about relationships. No, it's the same about relationships. I actually realized this week, or yeah, have been contemplating. There is no such a thing as relationships, or at least not the way I think it is. Specifically, of course, between people. It's part of the magic show, really. Like I make a story about the other person, and they make a story about me, and then I have expectations from them, and then they don't stand up to my expectations, and then starts getting complicated. Or somebody says something that somehow hurts me, or I don't like it, or it offends me, or whatever. But I also want to share that I have been, of course, thinking about it for a while, but specifically I had a friend over complex relationships, and we haven't been in touch for quite a while, and then we reconnected again, and then I invited her to come here. We had a holiday and here in Israel, and she came to sleep over, and it was quite a disaster. She was talking and talking, and she described the situation of actually depression and also memory problems that seem to me quite serious. And it's not the first time I hear about it. Like for the last years, maybe 2 years, even more, I've noticed that she's somehow deteriorating. And she told me that she actually couldn't cope. She's alone. She doesn't have a husband or children or boyfriend or something, or a girlfriend like that. And she told me she couldn't cope. She's collapsing. She couldn't cope with life, anything. She's falling apart, really. And it seemed like that. And at one point, I just felt I had to tell her. I mean, I wanted to tell her that I thought she had to go to psychiatrist and see what goes on, because it sounds really serious, what she's describing. And I took a risk, of course, when I said it, because, nobody likes to hear it. Right. Yeah, but she was telling me, that she has memory problems, and also that she cries so much, and she wakes up at night crying and stuff like that, which is serious, very serious, and very sad also. So first I thought I was like doing a favor, like somehow I felt responsible, but today, it happened a few days ago, but today I actually realized that it's not about responsibility. I just couldn't be friends with her any longer if she's so aggressive and depressed. And so then, and of course, it brought me again to think about relationships. Like,
yeah.
Relationships somehow don't exist. We have interactions, but relationships, as I used to think, with obligations, with responsibility, and all this, they don't exist, really. It's a story we make. It's a story. It's a habit. Yeah.
Now, for both things, before you started out, so actually, if what I had told before, then nothing happens. And now you say also there is no relationship. And in both cases, you can not really make this drastic statement. On a relative level, a lot is happening. Simply, it's not as real as we think it is. It's something magic. And now a relationship, of course, we are anyhow connected with everybody. It's not that we are connected with some people and not connected with other people. But then in the relative stories, we can create connections that are stronger, energetic connections. But what does not exist, what is an illusion, that people always think, I need that because somehow I'm feeling more complete with that. I'm incomplete without that. And then there is that fear of being alone. And of course, as long as we are thinking like that and expecting that our friendships, our relationships make us whole, then we will get all the time disappointed.
Yeah.
Still, within that relativity of this game, within this theater, we do have stronger energetic connections. Essentially, we are anyhow connected, but we have stronger energetic connections with some people. Especially when we have spent quite some time together, it simply happens even if we don't think about such things. So in that sense, if you call that a relationship, relationships are there. But the illusion is that we somehow should get that sense of completion out of that. That our well-being is dependent on that. Once we are really clear about that, then actually it's also much easier to have friendships and relationships because we stop expecting that I should be now nourished by that. We can mutually inspire each other, definitely, but everybody is complete in themselves. We don't need anybody for that. That is the difference. That imagination, what relationships are, that is wrong. So in that sense, you can say that those kinds of relationships don't really exist. They are an illusion. But on the relative level, as long as we are appearing in this theater, in this magic show, there are stronger connections with some people than with other people. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so you say connections, that's great. But relationships, the way I used to think about, yeah, I understand what you say, but definitely you say connections, which is more now nicer to my ear,
yeah.
rather than yeah, of course, connections. I have connections, of course, and there is love, there is compassion, there is all kind of good qualities, and but as you say, after all, we are all. How did you say? Each person is for themselves.
Complete.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. We are not lacking anything. It's not that because of those connections we are full. You're full anyhow, complete. And the experience of that completeness, of that fullness, that will unfold. But we are not dependent on relationships for that sense of completion. That is the illusion.
Okay. And this completion, and as you described it like that, it also doesn't depend on what I do or don't do. Some days, like yesterday, I was spending some hours on my porch and just like had a cup of tea and maybe went to my pool. I'm not sure, to relax, sit in the water. but I didn't do anything productive. Like I didn't make any art or knitting or cooking or nothing. Like didn't read a book. I just spent time, and I felt good, and I felt complete also. But it's a new thing for me. I often think I have to produce stuff and to do things for other people and all kind of things in order to. I didn't think about this to be complete, but yeah, maybe this is like to justify also my being here, but I don't have to justify. And to be complete is something I would like to contemplate about. It's interesting for me to think about it. Yeah, what does it mean to be complete?
Right. And the old idea was that in order that you somehow justify your existence here, you have to be productive. You have to somehow do something visible for the world. But
yeah,
what is much more important is that you are conscious. And what I said in the beginning of the satsang, if you connect with your true nature, with that creativity, with that beauty, with that joyousness that is there, then you are doing the best you can do for the world. It's not what you externally accomplish. And then you can do what you said that you did that day. You can sit on your porch and have tea and sit in your pool and do nothing. And be consciously conscious here now and radiate. That's the best you can do. Not how much visible stuff we are producing.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see.
Wish you well.
Thank you, Werner.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Nelly.
I want to share something. I said to you that I have difficulties in relaxation when I meditate.
Yes.
Yes, and now I see that some improvements in it. I found something that helps me.
Oh, very good.
Yes. I just when I feel this connection with God, with divinity, and I feel some connection with through myself, and I apply to this divinity and ask it to melt me in it, to melt. I just like I melt in this divinity, and I see it helps me. Yes, because I see that it's difficult just to sit and relax. For me, it's difficult. I don't know. I should do something, and this is what I do, and it helps me. Yes, when I say that, I melt in it, and I feel this readiness to let go and to give up. And yes, I see some small improvements in it.
Very good. If it helps, then it's perfect. Everybody develops their own ways how to go about it. Everybody is creating their own yoga on the way. It's not that we have to strictly follow a blueprint that is already there, that can give a structure, that can give inspiration, but then your path is new and unique, and beautiful as it has never existed in the whole human mankind before. So whatever helps to connect, whatever helps to let go, whatever helps to relax is valid. Hello. So by all means, continue experimenting in this way.
Okay, thank you, Werner, and thank you for what you said in the beginning. Thank you for this inspiration and support, and remember to remind, yeah,
Right.
about this. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Is there anyone else who would like to come? You're welcome.
Hello, Werner.
Hello. Hello, Kristen.
Hi. Good to see you.
You wrote you had been busy for some time, so you couldn't come.
Yeah, I couldn't be online, but I followed on YouTube.
I see.
Yeah, still nice, but it's good to be here. So what you said in the beginning about before, when you were concerned about the mind in the earlier days, and then it was a help for you to, even though you were not at that stage, but just to think about it's not as real as it is.
Yes.
And that led me to a question, because I'm connected with a lot of people, so I have influence on a lot of people. And my idea about teaching yoga is I only want to teach what I have experienced, but that also makes my teaching quite limited. So the last year or two, I have experimented with opening that up a little bit, especially also after being in Tiru and being so inspired by the whole Advaita and coming to your satsangs and so. So I have started in the meditation to guide a little more in that direction.
Yeah.
And also talk about things that where I'm not at that level, or whatever you could say. I have not had that experience myself, but I feel it's truth. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that dilemma about when we talk with other people, how can we support them and how can we inspire them, but yeah, not coming over the limit where it becomes something I imagine. Do you understand the question?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself, honest with yourself. As long as you are not making any claims about your super great, wonderful state to the people, but you just talk to them what comes from your heart, what inspires you, then you can also share that inspiration with them. There's nothing wrong with that. And if people maybe start to nail you with questions, then how much have you experienced? You just are honest and say, hey, I'm getting very inspired. So because of that, I'm sharing that inspiration.
Mm.
As long as you not suddenly put yourself as a person on a podest and think, I know, you don't know. Then there's absolutely nothing wrong with your yoga, that you share whatever you have experienced, that it helps you to open up to certain lines of thinking, to certain truths that you feel somewhere are right, even if it's not a direct experience, and they help you if you open to them. And so if you innocently share that with others, then you're doing a good job. It helps you, it helps them.
Mm. It's a nice support to hear that.
Yeah. The tricky thing just comes in then when that self-importance comes, and after all, I'm quite good and and playing that role of me. I know it much better than the others, and sort of starting to look down on them. But then, of course, that something goes wrong, and it becomes again an ego trip. But if you, in your innocence, you just share what you feel in your heart, then it's really something beautiful you are doing. Nothing wrong with that.
I think I'm a little oversensitive to go in that other ditch, to go in that, you know, I think, in a way, I think I'm holding myself too much back in order not to go into that blaming position. Yeah. Because, I mean, the popularity is very nice. I can feel that. Yeah. So it's something I'm really keeping a sharp eye on. But then I think it also makes me hold something back that should actually come out.
Yes. You just connect with that, your own divinity, you connect with the divinity, cosmic divinity, and you sort of offer your yoga classes and teachings as an offering to that. And you tell that, okay, it's your job, you flow, and whatever should come and be transmitted shall be transmitted.
That moves me very much when you say that.
Nice. Good. Very good. Shall we leave it at that?
Yeah, we shall. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Hariom. Hariom.
Werner?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. How does it work? I just need to talk and it works.
What did you say? You just need to talk and.
How does it work? I just you hear me? Huh?
Yes, I hear you. Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Hello, Werner.
Veronique.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Hello. Hello, Veronique.
Hello.
Are you in France?
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's wonderful to see you, and I can smell. I just can smell the air of Arunachala around you. It's very nice. Yeah. So I've been willing to connect with you for this past month. I'm very busy though in summer, so
yeah,
it's much more space. And I didn't have anything to ask either. You know, I am. Since last winter in Tiru, when I felt very, very much connected to everything, in a kind of disappearance of me as well, of me as I know me to be. And so as I came back to France and resumed my life, there were some kind of densification again, but not that much actually. It just I am pretty much functional, so I would begin to do my things and to you know, to keep my life going. And I'm very interested by what you said to Kirsten right now, because you told her to connect to the whole and to offer whatever you are to the whole. But actually, my experience this past month has been to be reduced more and more into the small, to the extent as not being. I lost a lot of functionality actually, because each time I would try to expand and become bigger than what I am right now, which is very, very insignificant. Each time I would try to expand, I could feel that it was just Veronique's pattern building up again, you know. And not so much that I feel trapped in them, but it was like this, you know. As soon as I try to be bigger, to occupy more space, even in consciousness, even in awareness.
Yeah.
I am Veronique again, you know, and I have this intimate knowing that it's not what I am supposed to do. So I've been pretty much in this for the past month, doing the best as I can to manage my life, but there is a sort of increasing of dysfunctionality already. I notice it's just like I can barely answer to the solicitation, to the needs of my surroundings. But as soon as there is no question, no trigger, nothing moves anymore. I have no more pull towards anything, and no more desire or need. You know, I'm just like you know, like a bag of rice in a corner of the room. And I'm fine with this, except from time to time I'm slightly worried, like in terms of intelligence, for instance. I can feel very bright, connected at one point, and with people or with people, because when I am on my own, my intelligence is not triggered really. But when I am with people, I can feel bright, and suddenly, in a few seconds, I feel in a very, very low level of intelligence, like suddenly I am stupid total, and it doesn't help my life. I have things to do, and I am very slow. I am very, very slow when I used to be pretty efficient, and I am clumsy as well. I am newly clumsy in my body. I would bump into things and drop stuff, and I'm feeling what I am feeling. Just to finish, to resume, to summarize this, is I'm pretty much in spare parts. You know, I'm pretty much undone. And it's not that I am reluctant to this, but it's just not functional at all. So what would you say to that? What's the right position for me to be here?
Yeah. You started out saying when you started to consciously expand, then always eventually it would turn into the opposite. Then you had that expansion, and then after that, rather like a contraction to smallness.
Yeah, but not to smallness. No, I feel tiny, and then if I'm consciousness starts to expand, you know, like what I can do in the world and what I am connected to, immediately there is this inner intra state, you know, from smallness, which is very nice. I cannot reach hugeness anymore without falling into Veronique.
Yeah. But if that idea of expansion doesn't work, then just don't even think about expanding. Just connect with that consciousness now, and learn not to give it a name. Now, it's Veronique. It's a certain function. It's a certain person. It's an aspect of that consciousness. But you here now are conscious. Then you just come back to that consciousness, and you don't think about expanding or significant or insignificant. You just connect with that essence and relax and wait and see what happens. And it can happen in the spiritual unfolding process that we may go through periods where we are a bit less functional, but then this will arrange itself, and then after that you come out of it. So don't worry about it.
So nothing I do with this.
It's you don't need to worry about it. You just are consciously conscious. And then you do your practical things as good as you can. And if you don't start to get into that mood that I'm dysfunctional and repeat that, then it's not getting worse and worse. So don't make a mental trap there that you now believe
Yes.
I'm dysfunctional and then you get worse and worse and worse. But okay, it is maybe for the time being a bit more difficult, you're a bit slow. So what? If you don't mind it, then it's no big deal.
Right now, I don't have much to do, so it's perfectly all right. But when I have things to do, it becomes a drag. You know, I'm very low in energy because I spend so much time to do things and to be. So I've been very tired actually this past months as a consequence.
Yeah. But it may also pass again, and then after that, it doesn't matter that it had been like this.
Yes.
If the tiredness has also something to do with your health, you can check whether you can do anything on that level, but I wouldn't worry too much, no? Yeah.
I don't worry. This is my worry, is not worrying anymore about anything, you know, and the worry is, should I do something better, you know, like, is it enough to stay there and not to look for anything anymore and not to be anything, not to move. I don't move. It doesn't move in me anymore.
You are conscious, you are alive. That is important. And then you don't have to artificially create motivations to do things. If it comes by itself, you can also again be more active if that comes naturally. But if you are not forced by the circumstances, nothing wrong not to do anything. But don't go to sleep in this not doing, but be alert, and then you're doing the right thing.
Yes, yeah, sounds good.
Yes.
It's just so different of what we are being educated for.
Right. Like Leora said before, then we should be somehow efficient in order that there's always that idea in our head that we have been trained that in order to be a useful member of the humanity, we should produce something. We should do something visible and be visibly productive. But actually, if in that not doing, we don't get lazy, but are alert, are here, are now, then that is doing something not so easily visible for most of the people, but it is doing something beautiful, not only to yourself, but it's radiating. So that is more of a concern, something that we have to remind ourselves, be alert in it. And then you don't have to feel like a bag of rice. You are a conscious living being, not moving, not doing anything. At one point in my time, I sat for 7 years in the same spot without coming out. It was the most creative period in my life. I did nothing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I feel there is this level of joy, which doesn't move. It's joyful under, but it's not triggered anymore. And my concern is not so much dysfunctionality is a bit boring, is a bit, it makes life a bit difficult, a bit more difficult to manage. But my concern is more than everything fell down in terms of importance. I mean, I'm still loving people, but nothing is important. It's just like there is no movement in here in this either, you know, like I see people, I know some people, I don't know the other ones, and everybody, we all have our life and our stories and our you know, and I don't feel concerned at all, but I don't feel cold. It's just like doesn't move me.
It's
Nothing
not that
moves
you
me.
are cutting yourself up. It's not that you are creating a wall. Then there's nothing to worry about. It looks a bit funny from the mental state point, because basically the idea was always somehow the life is enriched if we feel a lot of things and do a lot of things, and fine. For many people and in certain periods, that's also how it goes. But you can also start to detach from that, but still be alive, still be vibrantly alive, without doing anything, without being concerned, but just be and radiate.
And what about this this thing of feeling that I am in spare parts, you know, like in fragments, just like I feel I am in fragments, and my dysfunctionality comes from the fact that the little fragments don't come together very well right now. And is it, I mean, is it going to become something at one point?
Right. I mean, this is a conclusion from the level of the mind, that somehow your self-image, that as you have had it before, as you have been holding on to, is crumbling. And then you feel like you are in little parts, but of course you are not little parts. It's simply then, because of that, maybe the connection on the practical level has become a bit more difficult right now, but so what? You just be yourself, and then a new way of functionality will start to emerge, that you just spontaneously do whatever needs to be done from moment to moment, without the whole tail that used to be there. If this happens, I have to do that. If that happens, I have to do this, and all that. So, as I said, just don't hold on to that idea and make it stronger. I'm now dysfunctional. So accept that it's maybe on the practical level right now a bit more difficult, but you can also accept it that because it's a phase of transition, and so not everything is functioning according to the old rules that were there.
Yeah.
And out of that, a new way of functioning will start to emerge.
Yes. And the thing, people look at me a bit weird. I mean, people I meet are people liking me, so it's fine. But I don't have much to say anymore. So very often I am not entertaining much situations. Yeah.
Yeah, so what? No problem. And people who have known you, that you were more articulate before, they may look at you a bit funny and think, what happened now to Veronique? She used to be quite funny, and now she doesn't say anything. So what? Then they have to adjust to the new appearance.
The what you say?
The new appearance. They have to adjust.
Yes.
You don't have to play the old role if it doesn't happen naturally, spontaneously, simply to satisfy their expectations that they have from the past, how you should be, how you should behave.
Yes. And when I comply to this, it feels so fake. I mean, I feel immediately completely bad in me. I cannot.
Right.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself. And then it doesn't matter if people look sometimes a bit funny at you.
It's all very relaxing to listen to you and to see you really.
You're welcome.
It's lovely.
Shall we leave it with that?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om.
See you. Bye.
Hari Om.
Yeah.
Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to come in and talk? You're welcome. Veronique, I'm usually asking people to turn off their camera when they don't want to talk, only at the end, yes. At the end, when it's not more recording, then for a moment, everyone who wants to open the camera, because my connection often is not so good, and if everybody has the camera on, it takes more information, and often then we have difficulties. It's just a technical question. All right. Anybody else who would like to talk? You're welcome. 24 people here. Nobody wants to talk.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Dial.
I am already asking, but I want to clarify it.
Yeah.
One point. I noticed that I'm very enthusiastic to meditate with a group. For
Yeah.
example, Vipassana course,
Yeah.
serving on the course, and I do full effort. But when I'm alone, I'm a bit lazy. I'm feeling maybe I get a habit that I'm meditating only with the group or with the teacher or with the spiritual spot. Something special should be. But when I'm alone, I'm not able to sit seriously few hours, for example. 1 hour, okay. Evening time, difficult. So, what do you think? Should I force myself to overtake this habit? Or it's just my nature, I have to go to Vipassana courses more and more and working with other people.
No, you don't have to go to Vipassana courses more and more. If you feel like going, if you feel the pull to go to the Vipassana course, then by all means go and do a course 10 days intensive. Fine, wonderful. And then if you sit less when you are alone in your house, then that's also fine. You have been pushing yourself to meditate for a long time, and you can also relax a bit about it. And you mentioned, like, you don't sit a few hours, but maybe 1 hour. If you sit 1 hour every day, this is already wonderful. And then just keep meditating when you are active. Keep that alertness no matter what you are doing. And then your time is also not at all wasted. Then you're practicing, not simply when you're sitting down with closed eyes and with crossed legs, but you're practicing when you are in the midst of your activities. If you feel spontaneously, naturally, to increase your meditation time when you are alone, you can. But if you don't feel like that, and if you keep up your daily hour, then perfectly fine. Don't worry about that.
Yes, it seems I'm not very clearly understand what means meditating in daily life when I'm working, when I'm doing something. So after meditation, I'm very interesting outside things. What's going on? What political situation? What I should do right now? So I already think I already meditate, so I'm free to work. Before I was thinking about it to be aware all the time, but seems now I not take it serious and not get attitude to it, how to do that naturally for me.
You can do the same thing that you are doing in Vipassana. You can have your interest in what is happening in the world or whatever you are busy with, but then you remind yourself and see what an effect it has on your experience right now. See what's going on, not simply out there in the world, but how is your body reacting to it? How you energetically feel? How you then you become aware of your responses to the political situation, to the situation you are in, to whatever you are practically working at. Then if at the same time, even if you cannot hold it all the time, but once in a while, you just turn the attention around and see how it's affecting your experience right now. And then the more you do that, the more you are meditating when active.
Okay, Werner, I understand you, and I understand how to do that. I need just more attention.
You just remind
Okay.
yourself once in a while, and when you remind yourself at that moment, you do it and don't think, I'll do it and when I have finished that. After that, I'll do.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because if we postpone like this, then we never do it. So whenever you remember, in the midst of whatever you are busy with, you also start to watch how your experience is affected by it. Be aware of that and relax. And that is meditation in action.
And one other thing, right now, my friend come to Tiruvannamalai with a group of people.
Yeah.
And I just today become aware that he is a group. I'm not sure what kind of group. Maybe they're doing yoga or something. Yes. And if they're interesting to talk to you, will you give them a meeting?
Yes, I can meet them somewhere. Maybe not necessarily here. I can also meet them in town. So if he's interested, you can tell him to make contact, and then we'll see.
Yeah, I will inform him, and if they like, so it's not sure. Yeah, just
Right.
they're somewhere near to you on this side of Arunachala. Is some ashram or some big building. I'm not sure what's going on. Just ask me.
You need not to make advertisement, but if he's interested, then he can contact me, and then we'll see where to find the time. Okay.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Is there anyone else who would like to come in? You can come in. Just now I said to Dial, to meditate in action is, and I told him what to do. Because he's doing that anyhow in his meditation, so we can do the same thing. If somebody is doing mainly self-inquiry, then the way to meditate in action is also while doing the action, the self-inquiry. It always comes, no matter how we are going about, it comes to being more aware how our experience is affected, that we are not fixing the attention only on the object of perception, what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we think, what we feel, but how all this is affecting my experience here now. And to become more aware of that, we can by watching the energy, watching the body reactions, the body sensations. We can do self-inquiry. We can just connect with God, that sense of divinity. somehow or other, just even when we are otherwise on this level busy, that we again and again connect consciously. We are anyhow connected, but we can consciously connect. And the more we are consciously connecting, the more the whole life is practice, the whole life is meditation. The easiest is to go about it in the same way as we are doing meditation. But then sometimes people tell me, no, I'm doing a certain thing in meditation, and when I'm active, I'm doing another thing. That's also fine. You can do vipassana in your meditation time and then repeat the mantra during your activity to help you to connect. If that feels natural and right, it's perfectly fine. Most of the time, the easiest is that we just do the same thing that we do when we are meditating. Not make a heavy duty out of it. Oh, no, I have to, I have to practice all the time. More in a joyous, playful way. When the memory comes, okay, connect and relax. And there is a joyousness in it. Connect, see what's going on, relax. If we do that regularly, consequently, when the memory comes, that memory will come, that remembering will come more often, until it becomes natural to just live like this, to be like this. If we force ourselves and desperately try to be conscious with that heavy mood, then of course, sooner or later, one has enough of it. Ah, no, I need some holidays. But if we learn to bring that playful aspect into it, then it's not seen as a heavy duty task, and automatically we become aware, hey, my life becomes lighter, easier, more joyous. And that in itself, becoming more aware of that, brings all the motivation to go about it. Is there anyone who would like to talk?
Hi, Werner.
Hello, Victor.
How are you?
Oh, quite fine. And you?
I'll give it a go. How do you?
Yeah.
I've gone back to, after a while of not sitting down and doing yoga and meditation, to gone back to doing yoga and meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Still a very active life. And what I realized going back to the meditation is how much the practice has changed for me.
Yeah.
Only because for a long time I was kept on thinking, you know, if you're going to meditate, you have to try and meditate 24/7, you know, just being aware, and made a commitment to try and be in the present moment as much as possible.
Yeah.
And just recently I was reading the final talks with Annamalai Swami.
Yeah.
And he described the shadow mind. And he says, the mind is nothing more than a shadow, and you can't catch the mind with the mind. It's like a shadow trying to catch a shadow.
Yeah.
And I laughed. And just like I picked up your skill which I use just about every day, breathe and relax your legs,
Yeah.
I also just go, there goes the shadow mind. And immediately I find that I just completely relax and not get caught up in it.
Yeah.
And it's not the change that I've noticed is that it's not so much, oh no, my mind's going off. It's more like, oh yeah, that's the shadow mind. Have a laugh and let it go. And there's been a shift in terms of I'm human, I have a million failures, but I can laugh about it and I can accept the fact that I'm just human, and I can laugh about it because I can just go, it's Maya, it's a shadow mind, I just completely relax. And it's just that's the shift. The shift is that there isn't a dragging on with that mindset.
Okay.
And so the meditations, it's become more of an awareness of the transitions that have taken place and just the relaxation into the present moment. I've noticed that. And like you said just before, it's this, you take a few steps forward and you take a few steps back, but you always keep on taking a few steps forward. And eventually over time, it begins to change. It's almost like you're creating a really good habit initially, because nothing is, I'm not going to reach samadhi just because I want it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the commitment to awareness of the present moment and just noticing, as you described so much, how you can just look back, observe what's going on, relax your legs, and everything shifts. Or when I go, oh, that's a shadow mind, have a laugh, shifts. And this continual practice, I've noticed in meditation, is how much more relaxed I am so much more of the time.
Yeah.
And if that's what I got out of it, then I'm quite satisfied, and I just keep on going. And I just wanted to share that in terms of trying to have a practical experience, an experience that makes sense, that sits well within me, as opposed to some experience that I should be having or some kind of made-up experience. And so the real experiences are actually quite simple, and just sit with that. So, and the question for you was, because I was always interested in pratyahara.
Mm-hmm.
And all the yoga
Mm-hmm.
studies that I did, and everywhere I went, everybody talks about pratyahara, but nobody really tells you much about it or what it means. They jump you straight into meditation and dharana and concentration. And for some reason, so often they skip pratyahara. And I read the Yoga Darshan Upanishads, and they provide these very strict pratyahara practices. And I was trying to understand, because I come to understand that pratyahara it's a form of inquiry in the present moment about what's happening. I'm not sure. And so does that inquiry in the present moment in terms of what's happening and what's feeling and just observing what's happening in the present moment a form of pratyahara?
Yes, so it comes to that. Just I want to say to the people who may not understand the word pratyahara, is traditionally it's a step in the eightfold yoga that Patanjali has given. And generally it's being explained and translated as the capacity to withdraw the attention from the sense perceptions. That you are more aware of awareness than what the awareness perceives. And so inquiry, yes, helps, of course. Everything that brings your attention back to that which makes the experience possible instead of being fixed on the object of experience is a form of pratyahara.
Yeah, I wanted to try to understand that, mainly because I've been studying Patanjali.
Mm-hmm.
as part of my studies, but I really wanted to understand pratyahara, because it comes before dharana and dhyana, and you know, it's a step between you know, from pranayama.
Yes.
You go into pratyahara and then meditation. But what is this pratyahara business? And I was just trying to understand it in terms of, is there a practice for pratyahara? Because there are practices for the other meditations. And how does that relate to a practical thing that one can be aware of or do that can somehow make some kind of sense, if that's possible?
Like those who are on the strict yogic path, they may do all kinds of funny practices to do that pratyahara. Like putting plugs in their ears or doing this kind.
No.
So, but I mean, that is not the pratyahara. That certain people, it may be helpful to do such thing, but it means withdrawing the attention from the fixation of what we are perceiving and becoming aware of that which makes the perception possible here now.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And of course,
I'm not into those ones, you know.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that your basic mood has changed. It means meditation previous was motivated of reaching a goal somehow, somewhere. And now when you got back to meditation, you simply become aware that meditating can help you to intensify your experience in the present without a particular, particular goal-oriented mind.
That's right. Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's taken a long time of complexity to come to simplicity.
Right, that's with all of us.
And I do believe that that's part of the journey.
Yes, we are raised in a society where everything is very complicated. And then simplicity is looked at as like something stupid. Well, eventually we become aware simplicity is powerful. It's that simplicity that really helps connect.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Well, thanks for clarifying that. And I have learned so much coming to these satsangs, Werner. I've known that I've been simple, and I like the simplicity, and because I like mathematics, I always like to bring things to the lowest possible common denominator, which is the simpler it is, you know, the more it makes sense to me, and that's the only way that I can proceed. And yeah, those practical examples, particularly the ones that you describe, and by putting it into practice on a daily basis, I can see the massive difference that it makes. Far more than some of the other practices, which are more of a struggle.
Yeah,
these practices are simple, they make sense, and they actually do make a difference. And I just wanted to share that with you because I practice it on a daily basis. I don't sit and meditate for 2 hours, because I'm busy, but I'm always trying to be mindful of being in the present moment and just take that breath and relax my legs and be aware of the shadow mind and then have a laugh and move on.
Very good. Very good. Great. And I have said a number of times, and I can only tirelessly repeat it. I have become aware in my struggles and experiments, the simpler the practice, the more powerful. The difficulty is just that our mind is too complicated that we can appreciate simplicity so easy and think it's not going to do anything. But once we get rid of that barrier, that resistance, then what you're describing now is perfectly valid. This simple practice, just not doing it once in a blue moon, but in the daily life, they become extremely efficient.
But the principle even in the sutras of Patanjali, is the constant practice of it.
Right.
And for me, it's a constant practice of the simple things, but it's always doing it.
Right. Great.
You know? Still practicing hard, but the simple things.
Right. That's good. Great.
If
Continue
that
like
makes
this.
sense.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Good, I'm glad. Thank you, Werner. Hari Om.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there anyone who would like to talk? All right. There is somebody. Hello.
Hello.
There. Now I see you. Hello, Anita.
Hello. I have a question to what you said in the very beginning that yeah, we are living in a difficult times and it might take some more time and so on. And I wonder how, or if it's like, I don't know what to say, if it's a good idea to get used to it somehow or to accept it. Anyway, I do that, but not to have this idea that it's gonna change anytime soon, because it might not. We don't know. But if I hang out in the space of, yeah, it will get better in 1, 2, 3 years, then I'm making a dream somehow, and I'm hoping. I'm in the in a field of hope, and so I'm trying to, how to say, yeah, to make up. My mind sounds so stupid, but to see this, if it's like this now, and it can take much longer, and it doesn't matter. The thing is to accommodate and be okay now. I mean, there are always things that are not fine, and then always there's this dreaming, one day it will be better, and I don't have to experience that this is a good way to handle situations that are challenging. So my question would be how to, what would you say, how to more get used to it and
Yes, but not in a resigned way and then, okay, that's how it is. But there is absolutely nothing wrong having that awareness. This is a phase, this is a transition, and right now it's just strange things are happening. God knows it may become worse also, but it's not for nothing. So hope is not something bad if it's not people mistake trying to escape in their fantasy how the future can be as hope, but hope in the sense that you hold on to that awareness. There is something very beautiful happening also now. Simply it's less visible than the not so beautiful that is happening, but it's still going on. It's something keeps on unfolding and eventually it will manifest. But accepting the presence not as a defeat, but all right, this is a fact of experience. And if we fight against the fact of our experience, then we are always miserable. So accept the fact, but with strength, not with weakness and think, oh, it's just too much, it's too bad, I can't anymore. But okay, that's what is on the program. and just do the best. And as you said, there are always things that you can do, things that you like. Something nice is still there all the time. And focus on that. Be yourself in spite of what is happening. And be open that it's turning in something beautiful, but not obsessed with the when, and how, and exactly. But okay, I'm getting through today, but one day it will be better. No, here, now, you can connect with your inner beauty no matter what is happening. You don't have to wait for better times for that. Let's just not get, as I said in the beginning, full of fear, and then through the fear, depressive, and then just sort of give up, resign, and think, oh, it's hopeless. No. In all that, here now, always, we can connect with the essence. The essence is totally unaffected. And then within manifestation, you look out of the window, you see trees, they are beautiful. You see the sky and the clouds, they are still beautiful, no matter the craziness of the people. You connect with those aspects easier that are beautiful. You accept that the not beautiful aspects are there, but the essence is not affected. And it will manifest, it will express itself more powerfully. Actually, it is also now getting stronger and stronger. Simply what we hear, what we see, what the news say is rather the opposite. That both sides are intensely active. A very light side and a very not light side. And it's easier to see the manifestations of the not beautiful side, of the dark energy. But the other also is working. And it helps us also here, now, in this present moment, in this present time, to connect with that inner beauty. But it needs a bit more of a determination than when everything outside is harmonious. But if we do that, we still can connect. And then that helps also that process, that it can manifest eventually better on that material level. Then you also not worrying how long does it take, how long does it take. You just are here now, aware of your own divinity. And aware, by being aware of your own divinity, you're contributing that this can also manifest easier on this level.
Okay.
Okay, shall we leave it like that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
So in a way we have come full circle as I started. Come back to the same subject and let's round up the official satsang with that for today. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.